I've been having a bit of a tidy up in my Crafty cupboard, going through old mediums that maybe are no good anymore or ones that I can give away. And whilst I was doing that, I came across a selection of different things that have been sat on my shelf for quite a long time, some of which I have used very briefly and some of which I don't think I've even opened. So I thought it'd be nice to have a little look at one of these maybe every week or so and have a little play. And so today I thought I'd have a try with this one, which is the Goosebumps Clear Texture Spray. Hi everyone, Jane here. Thank you for watching my video today. If you are new, welcome, and if you're a returning visitor, then welcome back. Thank you for watching again. Now, I have got this spray. Now I've used it because it's down to here, so I have used it in the past. I think this is quite an old spray. It's by, it says Imagine Crafts. Now I thought it was made by a different company, but maybe I was wrong. I don't know if Imagine Crafts might be to do with who I thought. I thought it was the same people who made the Memento, the Tsusuniko. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correct. But on here it says Imagine Crafts. So it says on it, it is to add texture. Oh, add texture in seconds for a unique look and feel. Drying time varies. Depending, oh, I did carry on. Drying time varies depending on coverage and surface. Spray 12 inches. Oh, that's not going to happen. From project for specified texture. Closer for more coverage. Oh, there you go. For speckled texture. Closer for more coverage. To prevent sprayer from clogging, flush sprayer with water immediately after each use. Keep out of reach of children. So this is a clear texture spray, as I said. The reason I have got this out today is, number one, because I was cleaning out my cupboard a little bit. I've been trying to get better organised. I'm already pretty organised, but I wanted to make things even more streamlined. And I knew that I had a top shelf that was just full of things that some of which I haven't used in a long time, so may have been dried up, some of which I just haven't used, so I wanted to make sure I knew they were there. And that's always a good thing. Sometimes if you're a bit stuck, you know, maybe you're in a bit of a rut with crafting or with art or creating, or you've lost that your mojo, sometimes cleaning out stuff is a really good way of discovering things that you forgot you had. And sometimes also, if you're ever sort of feeling, oh, I feel like the only way I could get out of it is I've got to go and buy something new, go through what you have and have a look. What's it? Some people call it shopping your stash. Go and have a look at what you already have, what you've forgotten about, and then get that back out. And then that might sometimes just be that little thing that says, no, actually, I don't need to buy that new thing. I've already got something that does similar. And it's sort of another reason why I got this out to have a look at today, because I've seen that there are some different products that come and go on the market, and when I see them, sometimes I think, I'm sure that's just like what I've already got that I bought years ago. So, you know, sometimes it might be similar, or it might have some different properties, but you can sometimes get the same effects with different things. So this is a spray that creates texture, but it also creates a resist effect. Now you can create resist effects in lots of different ways. I've had videos out recently where I've used gel medium to create a resist effect. You can use embossing powder to create resists. You can use gesso if you apply it very finely to create a sort of resist as well. So there are ways of doing resist effects that do not require specialist products. But this is in my cupboard, so I'm going to use it, as I thought it would be just a fun little sort of experiment. Now, this bottle, and I have not cheated, I have not gone and made sure it works and cleaned it out or anything before doing this video, which could be my downfall. But I thought, no, I'm going to see how it works after all this time. Now, it looks quite clean. I obviously didn't use it very much. Oh, the lid comes off. That is always a bonus. It doesn't look clogged. So, no, who knows? So what I have got is I've got a few tags, because what I thought I might do is I might just do a few different tags with some different effects on them. I probably won't make finished projects. I'll just do some techniquey bits, but I thought we could have one where I'm just using the spray as a texture, one where I'm going to try and see if I can use the spray through a stencil, and then we'll see if we can do a reverse stencil with what's left on the stencil. I don't know if that's even a thing that is possible. So I have put a bit of paper down. I can't remember how sticky or not this is, and so I thought if I do all the spraying first and then they can be left to dry, and then we can come back and do the colouring. So let's just have a look. Oh, oh, this could oh, are we going to get going? Are we going to go? I think we may have a blocked up tube after all these years of sitting on the shelf. So what I might go and do then is I will go and see if I can get this run through with maybe with some water. I do believe this is a water-based spray. Let's just have another go, because oh, there's something happening. It's obviously, I don't think it would take much. I think it will work. There was a bit of noise, so I will take that away. I'm going to go and clear out the sprayer, and then I'll be back and we'll see if we can get that to work. Okay, so I'm back. Now, I cleaned out the sprayer. It seemed like it might work. It didn't work. So I got a pin and I thought maybe that will help. It sounded like it was going to try to work, and then I thought maybe I can find another sprayer to put in the bottle. So I had one of these bottles that wasn't, I thought it wasn't working. It obviously was, because I've took the lid off of this one of these mister bottles, and I've put it on here. I think it's fine, and it worked. So, you know, a new sprayer, well, it's not a new sprayer. I don't believe you should have to buy new sprayers for the products that you've already paid a fair amount of money for. So I've just used an old one, but I mean, to be fair on this one, this is an old product. I don't mind the fact that this has gone funny after years of sitting on my shelf. That is on me. And this is actually a thing as well, is that we do really need to use our products. Don't leave them sitting on shelves. So I gave it a good shake as well, because I wasn't sure whether after all that time of sitting, it's probably sort of started to, you know, globulate a bit. So I'll give it another really good shake, and then I'm going to take my new lid off, and here we go. We've got, oh, it's not doing brilliant, but we've got some coming out of there, so let's use that one. It's probably is going to be something. I'm going to guess it's quite gloopy. Let's get a wipe. So I'm going to give it a wipe sort of in between, so that it's not glooping up the hole. I'm hoping that there's not too much water or anything in that. So let's go a bit. Oh crikey, it's going. Coming out quite gloopy and sort of in streaks rather than spraying. I wonder if I put back in the other one. Do you think that will work this time? Let's get my other one back and see if that will work. Now it's started moving. I don't know. It doesn't want to. Really does not want to do it. Let's go back to this one. This is something as well. If you've got sprays that have, you know what I might do? Because I'm never one to give up. I don't want to waste a product. If I get something like one of these, a scraper, and just scrape it like that, then we can take that off. I don't know how this is going to... Got lots of little bubbles. I think that's where I've just scraped it, isn't it? And then if we pop that one down and we try... Should we put that back? Put that on like that. And we'll see if we can get a reverse effect. This is going to be nice to clean up. But it's all experimenting, so you don't have to. But if you've got any of this in your cupboard, it might be a thing to say, if it has been sat there a while, it might be worth having a look and a check. And then let's just see how that does. So this is not going to be anything, you know, really refined. I don't think even, to be fair, if it was working properly, it could be really refined. So that's the sort of the reverse. So I'll put those three aside to dry, and then we'll come back and we'll see what resists we get from it. Right, now what I would say, do make sure if you're using this or anything like it that you do have coverings down, or you're in an area where you haven't got things that are going to get covered in it, because this went quite a way around my space. It was okay, it was fine to clean up. It cleaned up with washing up liquid and water and a bit of scrubbing, but everywhere was feeling a bit bumpy, even my water jars. So I've given them a good scrub, but they needed it anyway. But it did come off. It does feel sticky. It feels like, I'll tell you how, if you've used matte medium to glue collage down and afterwards you get that feeling on your hands where even when you've washed them, sometimes you still feel like you're peeling off the glue. It felt like that, and it is still like that. There's still bits on me, so it's that same sort of gluiness. So I would guess, obviously it is some kind of glue adhesive type product, but it cleaned up fine. It cleaned off my stencil. That's all washed off. That's fine. It's not tacky or anything once I've washed it. It's cleaned off of all my pots and everything that I got it on. It's been about half an hour. The ones where I did it really thick are still not dry. So the one where I just spritzed it on, where it was thinner, that's dry. But where it was on thick, it's still damp. So I will leave that longer. So I'll put that over there. And the same with the one that went through the stencil. That is still drying. In places it's dry, but in others it's not. So I will put that up there. But this one where I put the stencil over, that was only a thin coat. So that has actually already dried. So I will do something on here. And I thought, just to, as a simple-ish way of putting some colour on this one, I'll just go with some Distress inks to see how they work sort of in that quite basic form. In fact, rather than put it on the piece of paper, I'm going to put it onto my slippy mat. Actually, I say that's dry. I think some of the thicker areas are still very slightly, so I'll just be a little bit careful. So I'm going to go with my favourite selections of colours. So I do like my Peacock feathers and my twisted citrus. So I'm going to use those two colours, and I'm going to use my little stencil brushes just to see how this works on here. I think I should have gone with a darker colour. Let me go with a darker colour. Let me go with the darker green instead. With the I'm putting that up there just because then it's on the silicone, it goes on easier, because I think it's going to be able to be seen easier. My thumb was sticking there. Now already there is a resist there, but what will happen is that once I've put the colour, I'm going to put it over here actually so it stops moving. Once the colour's down, I'll wipe over the top. Let's put a bit of that one on, and a bit of Peacock feathers. Now I could have used the bigger ink pads, and then it would have probably gone down quicker. I might add another colour in here actually, because I feel like it needs another colour in. How about a bit of yellow? Yellow is always a nice one, isn't it? So a bit of mustard seed. These are my mini Distress inks. I love having these by the side of me. I do have big Distress ink pads as well, but these ones are nice to just be able to grab when I feel like I need to quickly grab some ink. Right, so that's that down. Now, even without wiping, you can see where it's resisting. So let's pop that down. I don't know, actually, I'm going to just add a little bit more on the bottom there, because actually, no, that was meant to be the blue, wasn't it? Oh, let's get that back in. Let's make it green now, so never mind. Right, put those to the side. Let's get a piece of kitchen towel. You could use a microfiber cloth. You could use a wet wipe. I think a wet wipe would be too much and would lift your ink off. If you just want to lift your ink from the texture spray. See, now I really like that. Now that was just a really sort of rubbish print at the end, really. It was just to get the last of the spray off of that was left on the stencil, but I really actually like that effect. That's really nice distress. But you can see that, I mean, I struggled with how it was spraying, so I didn't get quite, I don't think I'll have quite as good a sort of an impression with through the stencil and that, but I really do rather like that. And so that's straight away, in quite a quick and easy way, started a background that I think that will make a lovely naturey type one, which I might do at the end of the video. Not sure. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll just turn this into a quick naturey one at the end. But we'll come back in a minute. Well, it probably won't be a minute. Probably been about another half an hour, but a second for you to see what's happened with the other two, and we'll use some different mediums on them. I've given it a nice long time to dry now, and it does all feel like it is nice and dry. I'd say it's had a good couple of hours, I would say. I think it was quite thick and it did need it. So what I want to do is, on one of these I want to use watercolors to see how that works, and on the other one I want to use some Distress Oxide sprays just to see if the Distress Oxides work in a different way on top of the resist than the Distress inks do. So I'll put those ones over there for now. I'm just going to, I think I'll get some of this kitchen towel just to make sure that I catch any bits of spray. So I've grabbed 3. I thought it sort of looks a little bit like ironwork or something like that. So I've gone for Antique Linen, Vintage Photo and Rusty Hinge. So I'm going to start with the lightest colour first. I'm going to take my lid off, give it a good shake. There we go. And let's do some of that one there. Give that a little wipe. And then we'll go with, I think we'll go with the Vintage Photo next. We'll leave the Rusty Hinge as the last colour, because I think that will be quite cool. Because that gives us the real. There we go, a bit of that. I've just dropped in my cloth. Oh, lean down. Right, give that a wipe. And then finally, let's have the, put that over there, then I might not drop it. The Rusty Hinge. And I'm just putting the cloth over the top just so it doesn't come out, and I'd take the lid off so it doesn't hit the top of the lid. I've got a bit of bang in the background. That's a pigeon, a wood pigeon, that has discovered it can get to the seed. We've got a seed thing on the door, on the patio doors, that for the little birds to be able to get the seeds so we can see them. And the wood pigeon has worked out how it can flap its wings and hold on and get the seed. So it's discovered that today, so it's doing it a lot. So that's this. Now, if I might give this a quick waft with my heat tool, I'll do it on a gentle setting and then we'll see. Hopefully that won't set it onto the texture spray. I just want to get the background sort of slightly dry because I don't want to wipe that off. I'm not sure how much that will actually Come on, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it with my... Ooh, nice effect. Well, I've got lots of that spray under the stencil. It has actually stained it slightly. I don't know. Actually, I think if I went in, I quite like that. I wonder if it will dry, because I quite like it with a bit of staining. If I rub it, ooh, hold on, let's have a look. Some of it's stained a bit more. Let's just do that. So yeah, if you go in and really give it a wipe. Well, that's a very grungy one. It's took a lot more of the spray under the stencil. I think because it was coming out quite thickly. What I think you could do is, if you tipped some of the liquid out into a pot and get a sponge, if you sponged it on, you could still use it that way if you're finding that the spray mechanism isn't working properly. I might try another sprayer in there and just, but it may be where it's such a thick sort of medium that it doesn't like, you know, having a sort of a fine bottle to spray through. I quite like them. They're not, you know, the most refined, but they're all right. Let's clear this away and let's get out my my watercolours. Now, I don't know whether we'll go with, well, let's go with some really, no, I know, we'll do some Daniel Smiths, and we'll do some of those, some of my colours. I really like the Rose of Ultramarine and things like that. So I might spritz this with water to start with. Get it a bit wet and get it going, because I want it to really be quite flowy. And here's some water. And let's get a brush. What's that one? There we go. And we'll go with let's go with Quinacridone rose to start with, and we'll drop it in. So we're not. This is the one that was just the spray. It wasn't through a stencil. It's just the spray spread in. You know, sprayed across. My pigeon's back. That's it now, it's discovered it. It must be getting the minutest amount of seed going. I don't know. It can't be worth the effort, but there we go. Right, and this one is the Rose of Ultramarine. This is the one that splits. This is a really nice one. I really love this colour. So I can see where it's sitting on the top of the spray. Now these tags are, let me remember, these are the Winsor & Newton watercolour paper, which is 25% cotton. So it's not 100%. So it, you know, it's not going to react the same as if it was 100% cotton, but it's, you know, it's not a problem with this. Now let's go with, what do I want? I think I want to, do you know what I don't often use is the lavender. Let's go with lavender. Lavender's not often my sort of colour, so let's have a bit of that going in here. Just something different. I may be putting it on top of where you know, it's going to come off because it's the resist parts, but at the moment I don't know, so I'm just sort of popping it in wherever I feel like. I'm liking that. Already that Rose of Ultramarine is splitting on there. Now I think I will have to leave this to dry on its own. Is that something that needs a bit there? But you can see where already it's repelling where those where the spray is thicker in particular. So we'll leave that to dry, and then we'll be back and we'll wipe off any excess, and then we'll see what we've got. I've given it a bit of time to dry. There's still some little patches, so what I will do is I will just dab it first, and then let's just get my piece of kitchen towel. Now where it's I think you do get a difference in between where I put it on really thick. It's really sort of done that the resist, but then where it's been put on a bit thinner, you sort of get that more speckled effect because it's not quite as resisted in places. So you get a really nice, if I hold that up there, it's a really nice effect here. So you do get sort of like different looks. I think if I got a little bit of water onto my kitchen towel and went over this carefully on the actual bits that are have got the spray on, more of that would come up. I don't want to sort of mess around with it too much because I don't want to remove a lot of what's in the background. Oh, got little bits coming off the edges of my tag. So here are the 3 tags I've done. I do actually really like them all. In terms of the product, you know, I've got it, so I'll use it up. I think I will have a go at using it with a sponge. Did think to myself, I wonder if you like sprayed it on, if you sprinkled embossing powder into it. I'm going to guess that would work because it would be a bit like an embossing ink before it's dried, wouldn't it? So I might have a little go with that on a project at some point, just for fun. And you could spritz it and then sprinkle it. But I think I do need to go through and just have another little look at that spray mechanism. So would I say you need it? No. Would I say I need most of what I've got? No. But to be honest, if I was to be doing a resist technique with a stencil, I would use and if I had, you know, if you have the tools and everything, I would use clear embossing powder, embossing ink and a heat tool to get that sort of effect. I think you get a better effect. For doing fun things like this, you could also do this with embossing ink. So like no, you couldn't. Yes, you could. With the refill things. I can't think what they're called. That you fill up your pads with. Your re-inkers, that's it. So if you've got a re-inker for an embossing ink, you could sort of drip that onto a project, then put your clear embossing powder over it and do it that way to get a similar sort of effect. So there are other ways that you could do it, you know, but if you've got it in your stash, I'd say get it out, have a look, have a play, because, you know, it's fun, but do make sure you put things down and be aware that it can go, you know, quite far when you're spraying it. So what I will do is, I think, just to finish off this video, I will take this tag and I will add some stamping, maybe a little bit more stenciling and some focal points to it to finish it off to go in my tag book. I will do that just with some music because I think you will probably be able to follow along with what I'm doing. But if you have enjoyed this video, do please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already subscribed, it would be fabulous if you could hit that subscribe button. And I think I will grab another one of those mediums, maybe the glaze, the distress glaze medium. I have used that in the past, and that is one that does intrigue me and I would like to use a bit more. So if you think that that's something you'd like to see me have a go with and see what we can do with the distress glaze medium, let me know in the comments whether you think that's a good plan, and please stick around to watch how I finish off this tag. But until the next time, bye bye.